Now we're going to move on to a story that's all over the news right now. Kyren Lacey, very tragic story. Kyren Lacey was a star football player on LSU, was breaking records, was headed to the NFL, and then allegedly caused a fatal car accident in Lafourche Parish, Louisiana. I mean, that's as much of a we're gonna frame black people as a place you can imagine. Lafourche Parish, Louisiana, and he was accused of this by the police, and months later,
and everybody who saw it, not just the police, everybody. Well, the reason why it was super big is because it was also blew up online as soon as the story happened. Every Barstool sports guy was tweeting. You know, they got to let the racist dog whistles out. They got to see a black kid in a fucking green Charger speeding down what looked like to them to be driving recklessly. And so they got to get off their little racist.
Yeah.
Just thoughts.
They get a
feelings.
chance to be racist without being racist, quote unquote,
no,
right?
They're definitely being racist.
Yeah, but yeah, the tragedy was that Kyren Lacey ended up committing suicide over all this, and so we have an update on all this, which is the district attorney's office has come in and published their investigation. And their investigation, long story short, like we see like a clip of a video of Kyren Lacey speeding in his Dodge Charger, and they said him speeding and overtaking all these vehicles caused these other cars to have to avoid him, and that led to the car accident. But now we know from the district attorney's investigation that, yes, he was speeding and overtook these like 4 cars, but then guess what? He got back in his lane safely and was almost 100 yards behind where the accident took place. So where the accident took place, those people had no idea about Kyren Lacey so far behind him, a football field behind him, by the time he safely got back into the lane. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. The other thing that's more really damning for these cops is this body camera footage where this cop is talking to this guy, this witness, and he's asking him like, you know, so what did you see? And like he kind of explains it, and he's like, okay, well, he goes, I'm gonna need you to sign this statement, but don't worry about writing your name or your address or any of that. Which seems suspicious. I don't know. I'm not a cop. Seems like you would want them to write their information down. But he's like, don't worry about doing that. And then he listens to what the guy has to say, and he's basically like, okay, but what about the Charger? Wasn't it that Charger that like made you, da-da-da? And then he literally tells the guy, he's like, no. That Charger had nothing to do with it. He was like, the lady behind me. He's like, first of all, I did not even have to hit my brakes. I was not, because he was like, the Charger made you, the cop was like, the Charger made you have to hit your brakes, hit your emergency brake, and that made you skid. And then he was like, no, I was not going fast. I did not skid. And the lady behind me was trailing too close to me. That was the problem, was the lady behind me. And the district attorney's investigation confirmed that she was like, they said I forget, it was either 1 or half a second behind the car in front of her. And he gives his whole explanation, and the cop, it's so obvious he does not give a shit about what he has to say. And then it was revealed that in the statement that was given, the statement that was written was basically what the cop wanted him to say, but did not reflect. Now we have body camera footage of what he actually said, which was not what he allegedly wrote down, unsigned. The statement was unsigned. And remember, right away, he was like, put your name, or he's like, don't worry about putting your name in. So it seems like he fucking framed Kyle, like it seems like it's beyond dumbass, negligent, stupid.
It wasn't just the bad framing of the footage that like went viral on the internet. It was also the framing the police intentionally.
The other type of framing.
Yeah, they just actually like, and just so we can really make sure this job is done, we're gonna frame this dude, which has untold consequences, like the weight of the guilt that kid faced for like all those months, and he ends with him taking his life, which I can't even imagine having to have that sit on your soul. I can't. I mean, I'm sure he knew he didn't cause the wreck, but I mean, like
the stress. But it also maybe even could have been guilt. Maybe he was convinced because the whole world is saying he did something. Like I can't imagine. And he's a young kid.
And he thinks his life. Bro, I got arrested for weed, and I thought when I was 20, I was like, oh, my life is over. So I couldn't only imagine the weight of someone. You work your whole life. Your whole life is dedicated to making it to the league. Like these kids, like they train hard. They stay dedicated. Especially like one who has a Charger. He was already a talked about prospect, and for him to like have those opportunities, just be lost right in front of him like that. I'm sure.
And they said that he killed someone.
Yeah.
They said you killed this person. So I don't know.
And I can also the racist. We don't even know the racist like threats this dude was getting, because you do anything online as a person of color, and white people will be in your DMs being like, "Yeah, I'll be here."
Oh yeah, dude. All the fucking cartoon profile picture,
Patriot Act 569
unbridled hate memes, you could say. Yeah.
Everything the children that won't talk to me, I'm taking it out on you, motherfucker, in this comment section. And you're like, all right,
that's a Friday night for a divorced dad.
Crack a couple brewskis and just yell at a liberal online.
But yeah, I mean that's what we're not seeing enough talked about, in my opinion, with all the media that's because it's like real media is talking about this, is the fucking racism that is undeniable. You can't just ignore it. Like, and we don't know. That's the thing. I can't say for sure that the reason this guy seemed to want to frame this kid is because he was a black kid. Can't say that for sure, but all I know is that this cop fits a description of the type of person who would be racist, and that description is a fucking cop in Louisiana. Lafourche Parish, Louisiana PD sounds pretty damn racist to me.
Yeah, listen.
Just going off of my instincts.
You cross that Mason-Dixon line, the odds of a cop being racist is already 80%, but it definitely skyrockets to 1,000%.
Oh, yeah. A green Charger, I mean,
just angry, just jealous. So that cool black guy in a green Charger, we got to do something about that, right?
Yeah. And the witness he was talking to was a black man as well. And so I like to think that he was smart enough to see where this was going. That's why he so adamantly he was smart. He adamantly was like, no, this, and this. And just does not make it in the statement at all.
Yeah, well, that's the director's cut to the body cam.
Good God, man.
Right.
Well, yeah, we got to move on. R.I.P., man. What a fucking tragedy. Kyren Lacey. That kid was definitely on his way to the NFL. He was already a star at LSU. So, fucking tragedy.